mean, here we are sitting, one of the last four teams. That was, that's the type of game that I envisioned against Tampa. I mean, that's an outstanding team. It's a hot team. We knew it was going to come down to the end. Baker, I thought, played really well. I got a ton of respect for Coach Bowles and what he's done. We knew that was a tough team. That was somewhat a mirror image of us. So we delivered body blows, and ultimately we did what we had to do to win that game. But I mean, there's nothing easy about it, and to be able to win in the playoffs and do what we did, that group of guys, we get guys like Frank, man, battling for the injury, get back out there and help us win a game. It just, it speaks volumes to the type of guys we got in the character. And, Derek Barnes comes away with a huge pick there at the end, game on the line. And, I thought our defense played outstanding. We gave up a couple of things, but ultimately, man, we did what we had to do, 2 takeaways. And offensively, we knew we had to be patient against that defense. And it paid dividends in the second half. So really proud of everybody that's a part of this.
What did change offensively midway through the third quarter, whatever? You just scored touchdown effort, not moving the ball right for that first 3.5 quarters.
We knew we needed to come out and throw it against this team. We need to be efficient with the pass, see if we get some explosives. We weren't able to do that. Second half we were, and then we were able to lean on the run a little bit. Once we felt like maybe we could loosen them up, and Gibbs breaks one there at the end. So those were pivotal for us. But ultimately we knew it was going to be that type of game, and it was, and that's playoff football.
Obviously, you don't care where the play comes from, but for it to come for Derek Barnes, a guy that's really fought to carve out a role for his team. What does that mean to you as a coach?
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud of Derek. Derek, he's one of our guys that we drafted in this first year here, and he was a later bloomer guy. It took him a little bit, and then he really came on this season, and he's playing at a high level. And just to see him, one of the biggest areas he's grown at, not only just being able to, his level of play on defense, but his psyche. Something bad happens, something doesn't quite go the way you want it to, man. He's able to bounce back in a big way, and it doesn't affect him negatively, man. He keeps going. That's where I feel the most growth, and it's why he's playing at a high level. But that was what a huge play.
Okay, I know you probably don't know, but it's 3 years to the day where you had your introductory press conference and you came in, you set your expectations. For you to leave your imprint on this team the way you have, man. I know you haven't had time to reflect on it, but just over this span, man, being able to do what you're able to do and capture this position that you're in right now.
Look, I got a lot of really, really outstanding people around me, all right? And I'm fortunate. And it takes a village, and without everybody involved, without Brad Holmes, without Sheila, Rod, Chris Spillman, without Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, Dave Phipp, I mean, you don't, I'm fortunate.
Could you have imagined this 3 years ago to be 1 win away from the Super Bowl, today?
I envisioned that we would have a chance to compete with the big boys, and that's where we're at. All you got to do is get in, and it's about placing yourself the very best position to where you can move. You get a home game, and then maybe you get a second home game, and now all of a sudden it gets a little easier. If you're able to get a 1 seed, you only got to win 2 games, right? And so that's always the objective. But ultimately, once you get in, then it's about matchups, and you find a way to win, and you may have to win 2-0, and it's okay. It's okay. A win's a win in the playoffs. So, here we are. And now we get to go to San Francisco, and, we know what kind of team that is, but we're in a great position. We got a great opportunity.
Dan, can you at all share some of the emotions since you knew you won this game over the last 10, 15 minutes, just the zillion thoughts going through your head?
I'm exhausted. I didn't even play. So,
Dan, that first press conference has kind of become a legend. Recaps, all that. Initially, though, there was a lot of like, what did the Lions hire with this guy? Do you hear that then, and what do you think?
You're probably one of them. To each his own. We're going to the NFC Championship game with that group of guys. All right, and they love football. They play football, and that's what they respect. And they respect their teammates, and not anything else. And you know, when you're able to, you know, to care more about the person next to you than your own, you know, about yourself, you can do some pretty special things, and that's where we're at with this group.
Dan, on one of your biggest gotta have it plays of the season, 4th and 1, you went to Craig Reynolds. That would, I say, unexpected move, I guess, from the outside. Why Craig in that moment? And again, what it mean for him to deliver?
Yeah, he was in that package. So, I mean, just look, we got a lot of faith in Craig. Craig's a good downhill runner, and it was kind of what we had packaged for him. So it wasn't, you know, it's just one of those things. It wasn't. I wouldn't read anything into it. It's just, if you're asking if we trust Craig, yes, we do trust Craig Reynolds. You know, I mean, so heck of a run. It was well blocked too. Those guys surged up front. It was just all the way around, really good.
I was going to say, you mentioned right now early, he had to keep blocking that play. I don't know what he was fighting through, how much pain he was in. He saw trainers come over to him so many times when he went off. So just to make the block that he did and to play through what he did today for you guys.
Frank's a stud. You know, that's what he does, and he's willing to lay it on the line, and he's not going to miss it. You know, he's gonna we talk about it all the time, but it's like, man, you know, you may not be 100%, but if you feel like you can produce, you can win at 80% of yourself, and that's what Frank does. You know, he believes he can, and he trusts himself, and he trusts those guys next to him, and it's just, there's nothing easy about that. Not everybody can do it, and that's okay, you know, but he can, and he helped us win today.
And the way that Goff and that passing game is going now, do you feel like at some point you're going to have a burst like you did in the second half like that? Like it always seems like it's just waiting for one of those 60-yard drives and big passes.
Yeah, I think we know it's, you know, we know if we're not quite there, it's coming. It'll come, you know, and that dam will burst. We gotta continue to harp on the little things, clean up, you know, a few things here and there, and but it'll come. We always feel that way, and I think, you know, there's a lot of trust in that regard. I think Ben did a hell of a job calling the game, you know, and those guys held on, and you know, Goff fourth quarter, he really showed up there, you know, and made some big throws. And we knew we needed to throw the ball to move it today. That was, you know, we went out there to Tampa, and, you know, I've said this before, it was like swinging a sledgehammer against a steel door. I mean, we were just over and over and over, and so we knew we needed to loosen them up before we started to run it, and we did that.
And so many times teams
Last
say,
two, Brad, then Justin.
try to build our team like our city, and it could become an ugly cliche. 3 years into this thing, where do you stand now? How were you going to do it to really embody a city that's been creating something like this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I quite understand the question.
Everyone always talks about the grit and the
Yeah.
spirit of the city and trying to embody the blue-collar work ethic.
Well, I think it's important, right? I mean, you can't, I don't know if it's, you know, it's not the first thing you think of if you go to L.A. or just in general, right? You got the sun, you got the beach, you got plenty of other things going on. And here, man, it's harsh winters, right? Auto industry, blue collar, things aren't always easy. And I just think that's, you know, that's what we're about. And that was, you know, you want something the city can be proud of. Though you can look at those guys and say, man, I can back that guy. I can back that team. You know, I can resonate with those group of guys. You know, they're kind of salty. You know, they don't quit. They play hard. And so I feel like we've done that. And I think these guys, you know, they have a kinship with this city in this area. And they love it, man. And ultimately, that's what you want. Now, you know, a year from now, 2 years, we'll be getting booed maybe. That's a whole nother deal, though. But right now, life's good. And I'm glad we could deliver that.
Never get when a guy can't finish, so is there an early update on Jonah and then what's thought of Yodi stepping in
Yeah, I thought Yodi stepped up. That was good to see. I mean, heck, we went right in there, and I think we had a 5-step drop first play out of the gate, and he just went in there and did really good. So Yodi's continued to get better, really, over the last 2 years. He's just kind of grown and grown. And, you know, last time we played Tampa, he was in there for us. So, but I thought he did some really good things. You know, Jonah and Brock, we'll see. Doesn't look real good for next week, but we'll see.
Dan, a lot of young players are counted on this team for you to win, guys with no playoff experience whatsoever. Now they've got 2 games under their belt, and they've won it in pretty dramatic fashion, the first game and this game here. How much do you think that experience is going to help these guys going forward? Because now you're going up against a team with a great deal of playoff experience on the road.
Yeah, I think every time you're in it, especially now that you're in this one season right now, and you know, last week there was, you know, there's a little bit of nerves and the environment, the setting, there's a little bit of pressure, but I felt like we've handled pressure really well all year, and so you get through that when you get this one, and we've been able to just stay focused on the one in front of us, you know, and so it's not as big of a deal, I think, as people may, you know, place on it. We've got enough veterans here that know what it looks like, coaches, and our young guys have adapted. And really, we've kept a one-game mindset. Like, here we go. This is the one right in front of us. And just like we did all year, you win 12 games, you had to prepare a certain way. You had to do things a certain way in the game. You take care of the football, you get takeaways, and we do that again. You keep it that simple. You know, if you start really honing in on everything that, you know, you've accomplished or what you've done or the magnitude of the game, well, that's where issues begin to arise. So we've been good.
All right, thank you guys for having an awesome
All right.
night.